Snack Wednesday morning. We'll let you know when you can win some more 20 packs of Wise later on in the show. But right now, we have some other stuff to take care of. Missed them last week. Obviously, very sad story. But we're excited to have him on again today on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business get you ready for what's next. And he's brought to us by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise. Online at landisbc.com. The great Adam Schefter from ESPN. Shefty, good morning.
What's going on, guys?
So, Shefty, we are one round of the playoffs in. We head to the divisional round of the playoffs. What's something that you saw across the board that was kind of a constant in the NFL where teams like the Eagles were able to advance?
Well, the Eagles didn't play their best football. They to me, they invited Green Bay to win that game, and Green Bay couldn't get it done, which, depending on how you look at it, may or may not bode well for the team this weekend. Like, they still haven't played their best brand of football. They're still rounding into form. You'd like to think and hope that they can do it now. This would be a more ideal time, a tougher matchup. But we'll see how that works out. But obviously did not play great last week, but well enough to win.
I don't know the better opponent or the tougher opponent. Wasn't Green Bay the better team? In fact, sort of statistically, if you compare the two teams, a tougher opponent than the Rams, or is it what you've seen in the last month that makes you feel that way about LA?
Well, that's the whole thing, John. Like, Green Bay technically was the better team, but LA has played better football over the last month or so. If you looked at the way the Packers played in recent memory, it wasn't great. And they had lost their best deep threat. They had lost their best cornerback. They were struggling, battling injuries. I didn't get the sense of confidence coming out of Green Bay. I just didn't get that. And it showed up that day with the way they played.
Shefty, one of the big concerns for a lot of people with this matchup is that Sean McVay and Matt Stafford have been there before. Obviously, a Super Bowl ring on both their hands. But a lot of people don't say the same about Sirianni and Hurts. Obviously, they didn't win, but they got there. Why can't the same be said about the combination of Hurts and Sirianni when there's a lot of respect for the combination of McVay and Stafford?
Well, they haven't won it yet. I mean, that is the whole thing. You know, when you win, you're afforded a certain amount of protection, a certain amount of credibility that you can only get winning. And they've played well and they've gone far, but they haven't done that. And I think people remember last season's collapse as much as they remember the playoff success. So you have all those factors going, and that's why you're not getting what you want them to get. But what I would say is there's one way to change that. That's to win this year and play the way they did.
Are you a believer that defense wins championships as far as, you hear that term, and we don't hear it as much often. In fact, the last time a number one defense won the championship was Denver with Peyton Manning. I mean, we don't hear that much anymore. And are you a believer that can be what leads a team to a title in 2025?
John, I don't know that you can say that it's this wins it or that. Good football wins championships. Well-rounded football wins championships. Good decision-making wins championships. Composure wins championships. Confidence wins championships. There's a lot of things. I wouldn't just say it's this. Unless you have some kind of dominant unit like the 85 Bears or 99 Ravens. You want to talk about an elite defense like that? Now, maybe the Eagles are that. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. Maybe they'll develop into that. They're a good defense, don't get me wrong. But are they a historic defense? I don't think that. Do you?
No, historic, you have to write history. We got to see a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl berth or something like that before you start talking history. But across the board, they're the youngest defense in the NFL. And so that is, I believe they're just starting to write the book of whatever they're going to be.
Okay, well, that's great. That's good, right? But I'm not going to count on that right now until they show me that they can be counted on to win a Super Bowl.
Well, the thing is, are you going to count on the Rams' offense? I mean, is that like people are talking about the Rams? After they played the Eagles, went on a 3-game winning streak. They didn't score 20 points in any of those games. Like it's like they're not. And with this defense, I think there's a lot of reasons for confidence.
Yeah, I agree. I like this defense.
Right.
Absolutely. And if the Eagles are able to win a championship, the defense, I expect, is going to have a major say in that. But, I don't know if they're going to win the defense. I can't say that they're going to win the Super Bowl right now because of the defense. Maybe that will be the case. That could be. But I don't know that yet.
Schefter, what is the likelihood that Kellen Moore could be a head coach after this season? And what goes into the week of interviews? Because when you start seeing that he's been requested or granted permission to interview, obviously people get upset a little bit and go, hey, isn't he focused on the upcoming matchup? How is it handling both?
Well, first of all, who's requested him so far? Do we know that we had no confirmed?
New Orleans and Jacksonville, right? And I believe Dallas has been talked about. We're not sure if that's been confirmed, but I do know New Orleans and Jacksonville have been confirmed requests.
I would think Dallas would, but as of yesterday afternoon, it hadn't been. So, listen, coaches do it every year. It's not really, to me, something that derails a game plan. We see coaches come off of Super Bowl winning staffs every year almost. And it's just part of what coaches do. And I'll have to figure out a way to do that. I don't think it's difficult. If you're that smart and you're that diligent, you're prepared for these interviews, you can kind of do them, I don't want to say in your sleep, but almost in your sleep. And it just takes away 2-3 hours from a week. So maybe that means you sleep 2-3 hours less one night. Like, get it done. Every coach gets it done every year. Not a huge deal. So, to me, his best chance of interviewing, quite frankly, is with the game plan he puts together for Sunday.
You think if you take the last 8 teams left in the playoffs, would you think the Eagles are the most balanced team? Both sides of the ball, talking about what they can bring to the table? When you got the number 1 defense and you got a top 7 offense, I think that's as good a resume as any one of these teams is bringing. I don't trust any of the other 7 remaining teams, their defenses as much, and the Eagles already punked the Ravens in their building.
Yeah, John, what I would say is that they may go into the playoffs with seemingly the most balanced team, but the postseason is going to have a huge say in determining how that comes out. Like, let's see who's the most like, maybe it's the Ravens. Maybe it's the Bills. Maybe it's the Chiefs. Maybe it's the Lions. But you know what? Here's every team's chance to make its case as to why it believes the most. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, fine. The Eagles are the most balanced team right now. It doesn't mean anything right now. If they go out and lose this week or next week, who cares that they were?
Yeah, but it means something. It means something as far as handicapping the matchups and handicapping looking into these games, and it's what we do all day long. It's what NFL Live show you're on, what you guys do all day long. It does matter what a team's resume is going into the playoffs, doesn't it, Adam?
Well, yeah, the resume, yes, but again, what you were saying to me was this title of them being the most balanced team, and okay, again, I come back to that. Yes, we handicap matchups. Yes, we try to figure out how certain matchups are going to unfold on a given day, how a larger matchup between teams will. I got it. But, again, I'm not into the titles until teams perform for it in the postseason. That's all.
Okay, I just watched 18 weeks of football. I'm just trying to do it off of what I've seen in 18 weeks. I mean, it's sure anything can happen on any given Sunday, but I'm looking at 18 weeks of football and saying that's a pretty damn good balance there compared to the other teams that are left in the tournament.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand what you're saying. Listen, they go into this with a great chance, okay? Like, I don't know what to say. On paper, they stack up. They measure up to anybody else. They should win Sunday. They're probably the better team. You're going to have a chance in the NFC Championship game if they win this week. So that's kind of where we're at.
Schefter, how much more difficult is it for the Rams that they had to fly back from Arizona after playing on a Monday night to then go cross-country for the Sunday afternoon matchup with the Eagles at 3 o'clock. All that travel, what does that do for a team come playoff time after playing so many games this season?
You know, here there's a couple ways to look at it. You could say that, boy, that's awfully taxing, and that's a lot, and it'll be draining. But I also think it's the playoffs, and they're playing motivated, inspired football, and they know what's going on in their city, and this is a distraction, and this is a way to bring a little bit of a distraction and relief to their city. And they're like, go watch the Rams post-game locker room video and tell me if you think that team's going to be tired or come out flat on Sunday.
It's going to be it has been a challenge. I was going back and forth with their general manager yesterday, Les Snead, and I know they've had I know that they have had a lot to deal with, and in the whole grand scheme of that, how much of a distraction has that been? I mean, because it's really hard. What they had to overcome to win a wild card game was impressive, and to keep that focus.
Well, you know what? They went, and I was there Monday night, and I was talking to a bunch of them, and they were saying that they felt like it was their best week of practice all year long, that they came out to Arizona, were motivated, handled it really well. Sean McVay kept saying to his team all weekend long, as he did in the video in the post-game locker room, we're built for this. We're built for this. So when you say, are they going to be tired this week? Shorter week, yes. Have to go on the road again, yes. All those things are true. But I think Sean McVay would say, and he has said to them, we're built for this. Now, whether or not that manifests itself in that team's performance on Sunday is a different issue. But they believe they're built for this, ready for this. They're excited by it. I mean, they're fired up. Again, they felt like it was their chance to give that city a little bit of happiness, a little bit of an escape for a few hours, and I'm sure they're going to approach Sunday the same way.
Shefty, you're the man. We always appreciate the time. Good to have you back this week.
Adam.
And we can't wait to talk to you next week, hopefully leading up to an Eagles NFC Championship game.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
There he is, Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline, brought to us by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at LandisBC.com. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, coming up next, we'll react to some of the things that Shefty had to say with us here on the show, and also today's headline.
Hey guys, it's Connor Thomas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thanks so much for checking out our most recent interview with ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter. If you want more Shefty content, click up here and make sure you're subscribing to the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube page for more great content.